Okay, so I think the question that everybody's asking is, what do you want to say? What is it?
So I was thinking about what advice would I give somebody. It was
Welcome to Marriage Monthly. We're Gabe and Melissa Kolstad, and we want to help you build a healthy, lifelong marriage. We get together every single month with a podcast designed to just give you practical tips to help you grow in your marriage, and we can't wait to spend some time with you.
Well, this is going to be a fun one. We are here today with our friends Steve and Lori Barker, and we're going to be talking about balancing a busy married life and life being busy and how you get it all done.
Yeah.
And you guys are really good at that. So why don't we start out, though, of you just introduce yourselves a little bit to our audience so everybody kind of knows a little bit who you are, where you're coming from.
my name's Steve.
And what do you do for a living, Steve?
I am an executive pastor, and I do some coaching and consulting, and that's what I do. And we have some kids.
Yeah.
And I'm Lori, and I'm a nurse. I manage a couple dialysis clinics, and we have 3.5 kids.
3.5 kids. Yes. That's actually true.
Yeah.
So
So, I mean, we know...
Ranging in ages, though. Like, tell us the ages.
So we have all the way from kindergarten to 12th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 at home, and 1 comes and goes.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. And you're at college on the horizon and lots of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Almost one kid down.
Don't say that. I'm not going to say that.
It's really hard. When that first one leaves, it's shocking. You're like, wait a second. Yeah.
So let's talk about this current season that you guys are in, because you do have a lot going on. And with that age range, I'm sure that it brings a lot of dynamics. So how does that feel? How do you describe your current season?
Busy.
It's, busy. It can be chaotic. It can be fun, but it can be definitely stressful.
If it's
a lot
not
of planning
yes.
goes into it.
Yeah.
If it's not on the calendar, it's not going to happen.
Yep.
And not everything on the calendar always happens, right?
Right.
That's true.
I mean, I'm pretty organized, too.
It is Lori and I,
but
though,
it's
so
like,
it's almost.
Yeah.
It's hard, though.
We said we were going to do this.
Yeah. Just let's go do it now.
Yes.
We said it. Yeah. No, it's true. So busy. I remember having the 3 kids at home, and it was a lot. And we had to juggle a lot. Not only their schedules, but our schedule and just everything. And trying to make space for everything. It's tricky.
It is tricky. What are you finding right now works to keep yourselves sane?
Wine. Just kidding.
Lots of wine. We go to lots of wine tours. We're schedulers. So Steve kind of started us on that a few years ago, a while ago. I wasn't really into technology at first, but now it's like if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't count.
Wow. Okay, so you had to warm up to that.
So I did.
Same thing, exactly.
I mean, what tips do you have for Melissa for adopting
It's true.
this?
I just started getting our calendar on here probably like 2 or 3 years ago is on here now.
Oh, yeah.
And he has access to it.
Well, she used
But
to be
before
so
that-
offended. So
I was like, I'm
offended
not doing
Yes.
it.
when
Because I
I
had
would
written
send
one.
her a calendar invite for a
Yes.
family thing. It was like,
I still don't like it.
like we can't just talk in person, you know?
Baby didn't
Yep.
accept the calendar invite.
He still does.
Yeah.
You didn't
Hey,
accept
we need
it
to have a
to
talk
dinner.
tonight, and you didn't accept my calendar invite. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but we
That's
do
interesting.
do that. We have
Yeah.
we have a calendar that's just the 2 of us shared, and then we
Yep.
have one that the whole family is shared on.
Yep.
That we
So
put
the kids
stuff
can
on.
see it all, and so they know. So the kids even know when we are on dates and all of that.
Yeah.
The kids see it all.
Yeah.
And everybody knows where everybody's going.
Do your kids have
So-
locations on you?
I don't know, actually. I know Steve has location on me
My
because I get
kids
lost
do.
all the time. So
Oh,
I
really?
want it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So,
You're like,
Surprised.
you
yeah.
have to ask him where you are?
Oh, yeah. He has to find me all the time.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, that's kind of
Turn
sad.
left at the next
No.
intersection you're about to come up on.
At the Red Barn.
Oh, we've done that a few.
Oh, yeah. He's been finding me ever since before we had the location and the
Aw.
whole,
Just stop at a street and tell me what street it is. I
Right,
need to know.
right.
That's
And
awesome.
I'm like, no, I can't stop. You just have to find me.
Drive to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you describe like your week to week or day to day, maybe more like what's your routine look like to manage all that stuff? I mean, for instance, like how many days a week are you busy versus not busy? And some of them, I'm just kind of curious, like your routine.
Yeah. It goes in seasons. So like right now we're in sports. So,
Oh, okay.
you know, when Cade's really into his sports stuff and Eva has random sports, then that honestly it helps because I don't have the same flexibility as Steve has in his, job. So that's very helpful. So he can do a lot of the run around.
Yeah.
We still have Vaughn at home, so he gets to do a lot of the run around too,
Right.
which helps. So sports season is definitely way more crazy, but they're usually short lived. A month or two for Eva. Cade's is 2 or 3 months, and so it's a short lived season. So the craziness. But we're usually all home for dinner. So that's
nice.
And we've always had that. We always sit down as a
same.
family. So that's really nice. So we always have that time to connect as a family. We usually connect on the weekends to make sure it's like who's doing what. Like look at the schedule and see what's going on and who's gonna, oversee what for that. So
Yeah, and then on a day-to-day basis, then we also get the chance to connect. Even Lori will always call me when she's driving home.
yeah.
So there's no kids around, or if they are, I'm closing the door so that I can be on the phone for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I usually drive anywhere from like 25 to an hour and a half home.
gosh.
Just depends on what clinic I'm at.
Oh, okay.
So so that's always, he's my first call. As soon as I get in the car, it's, when we just gives us our chance to debrief on the day,
I like that.
see how things are going. And because as soon as you walk in the door,
Oh, yeah. It's over.
chaos.
Pandemonium.
And, yeah.
Yes.
And we have 5 o'clock is chore time. We have an alarm. All the electronics go off in the house and everybody gets up and does chores. So that's usually about when I'm getting home. So it's just like,
Okay,
we
I love
all
that.
take turns who's cooking. So everybody in the house has a day assigned.
Even Eva?
And
Yep.
even
How
Eva.
cute. I love it.
Everybody cooks.
Wow.
And so, yeah.
So you've really managed to figure out how to equalize the load a little bit in that
Yeah.
way. Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
And I love that everybody's doing their part. I have never heard of chore hour or whatever.
Yeah, I like that.
Guess what? And all electronics off.
Yes.
Do you guys hear that? All electronics
Yes.
off.
Our
And
life
even
would have
if
been
they
so
get
much
it done
better if we
early.
had done
Yeah.
that.
We
no,
did
I'm
not.
just kidding.
Our
It
kids
was-
were not on electronics that much. It
No,
wasn't a
no,
big deal.
no,
But,
they
weren't.
but I have some loves in my life that are glued
Yeah.
to it, and they will not
Yeah.
let it out of their hand or their sight for 5 seconds.
No.
we did have the no tech at the table.
Never
like
tech
for
at the
us.
dinner table.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Us too.
But
I
the
love
internet,
that.
internet shuts off for an hour.
Yep.
So
Wow.
you get your chores done early.
Wow.
You
And
know.
and knowing you, it's scheduled. It just automatically
That's
happens.
right.
Yep.
Just like,
Automatic.
He
Yep.
loves his schedule.
Yeah, loves it. Loves it. If technology can do it, Steve is for it, right?
Yeah. This is true.
So
Dad,
you're
I just
automating.
need 5 more minutes. Nope, it's shut off. I
Sorry,
didn't do it.
can't help you.
It's harder for me to turn it back on and shut the automation off.
Yeah.
So,
Oh
nope.
my gosh.
And it's like, you know what's coming. So
Yeah.
don't go into a game that, you
Right.
you can't get out of.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think there's a real secret there because
Yeah.
I think a lot of people that when us many times too, almost felt like we were at the mercy of the circumstances or the environment around us.
Yeah.
Whereas what you're really doing is saying we're going to create an environment for structure and peace.
Yep.
And I think that's really great. And one thing I was thinking about too is, as you mentioned about dinner and how important that is, I read this recently that the number one predictor of resilience in an adult is how many times they sat around the dinner table with their family per
wow.
week.
Yeah.
And so it's really important that, what you're doing there is really great work. And because the predictability of it is part of the security that your kids are going to walk away with, right?
Yep.
But
Yeah.
then you too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing that, we have this every day. We have the call every day, so
Yeah.
some of those rhythms and routines are great.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
that.
I love that too. That's
Yeah.
good.
Okay. One of the things I was going to ask about is how you stay connected to each other in your work role with, very busy work roles, lots of stuff spinning.
And extracurriculars because you do coaching, you're writing all the time. You have lots of extra stuff, kids.
Yeah.
What is it? Yeah, it's just a lot.
So the phone call on the way home makes sense. That's
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
one of the things
Yeah, I
for
love that.
sure, right?
Yeah, I think it's about just being each other's priority. It's always first call, first text, first ride. So
Yeah.
if something exciting happens at work, I should be texting him first, right? Something bad happens, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter. And
yeah.
first call, so we kind of go, okay, I'm going to call you on my way home. If he doesn't answer, because sometimes he's in meetings
Yeah.
and stuff, okay, then I go on and I call my sister or my mom, whoever, and he knows if I'm not answering, well, you missed your shot.
That's right. Moved on from you.
Yep.
You missed your chance.
Phone was the other side of the house. I couldn't get to it fast enough.
But even going to the store, I mean, now that our kids can stay home alone, it's
Yeah.
hey, I'm going to run to Freddy's. You want to come? Not that he has to come all the time because
Yeah.
it doesn't always work. Maybe he's busy.
Yeah.
But, Eva, of course, would always say yes. So it's nope, Dad gets first shot, if he wants to
Yes,
come kind of
right?
thing. So it's just being that priority and
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
making sure that they're your first.
Yeah.
That is an interesting thing because a lot of people are put the kids first. And we've heard that so many times, put the kids first. But the reality is that's the worst recipe for family peace. It destroys a lot of things. She's always, I think your dad might have said this, like, treat her like a queen and she'll treat you like a king. And kind of having that, put them first mentality.
Well, and I told our kids, dad's first. Like they all knew.
Yeah.
Like he's my number one priority because I know they're going to leave and they're going to get married and go have their own families and it's going to be us again. And that's exactly what's happened. So I'm so glad that I kept this nurtured and hot and how it should be because right now we could be in a
starting over
lot of trouble. So I'm glad we did that. So
I mean, it has been for us, having just now become empty nesters. There was a few months of, transition time for us, a little bit emotionally, like what in the world just happened? Where's all the noise? How come I'm the only one here? But we didn't have to start over with our relationship because we had that consistency too. So it's awesome to hear that you guys have that. What else? What else besides the phone call and that kind of thing keeps you connected?
We'd like to travel too, so we schedule that in. We'll do vacations with the kids sometimes, and then we do vacations by ourselves. And then we do a quarterly trip where we
go get away. I love that.
Is that automated by chance?
I tried. It didn't work like I wanted it to.
So what is that? A weekend away, basically?
Yeah, it just really depends. Like I don't work Wednesdays, so we always do Wednesdays. Usually coffee or lunch, depending on when payday.
Yes,
is.
I saw you guys at La Provence a while back.
Yeah, and then our quarterly, it depends on, if my sister can take the kids or if my, mom can take the kids. And sometimes that's a night. Sometimes it's multiple nights. It really just depends on what's going on.
Yeah, and how far you go.
Sometimes you're at home because nobody can watch the dog. So we're just doing Portland, Cade was flying out of Seattle, so we did Seattle the last time, right?
Cool,
so it's just kind of depends. And we've done, we've done Dundee, like we've done little, McMinnville. Cottage Grove. We've just little places, for a night or two. And
all places pretty close to the Portland area,
Yeah, and then once a year we do usually do Mexico. My parents give us a week in Mexico, so we usually do Mexico. And every few years we take the kids, but usually it's us.
This year it's the kids are coming with us.
Guys, we're sorry if you're watching. Sorry.
Don't let the kids watch this. No. No, but it's true though. Those getaways just energize your marriage.
Yes.
Like just every time. It's so important. I mean, I harp on it on our marriage monthlies.
Yep. And we did a similar thing when our kids were with us. We would alternate. Like one year we'd be just us, and the next year would be
was
the whole family. And that was a good rhythm for us.
With the local ones are good because we get to drive and we get windshield time, which means that there's lots of time to just talk until you have nothing left to talk about.
And then you resort to the radio.
Or
we do.
Somebody
we
takes a nap.
recycle. We go back and talk about some of the same stuff about the kids or whatever over again.
Well, and it's true. We talked a lot more on our, like when we had younger kids at home, we talked all the time about the kids on our drive. Well, now we're like, they're great. They're off doing their thing. So we talk about the kids still, but mostly we talk about probably church a lot, friends, family, our future, traveling. That's always my number one.
I mean, the thing I have to be careful because if I mention the T word, I mean, she's on Expedia. She's just all right, I could book that right now.
And I did. Like last week or the week before, he's like, babe, he goes, I got to ask you something. I have a day training I really, really, really want to go to in Seattle. It's on a Monday. Well, that's automatically nope.
I sweetened the pot. Listen to this.
Then he said,
I am not
I want you to
stupid as
come,
I used to be.
I want you to come with me.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I'll drive us up to Vancouver, Canada, and we'll stay for a couple nights. I was like, okay, I'm in. And I had that whole thing planned in 30 minutes. Boom. I found the Airbnbs. It was done.
I can tell when she's getting antsy to travel because she shares the note with me that she does all of the stuff in, and I can see all the edits start to pile up. Because she's getting excited about whatever the next one is.
But it's fun to adventure together, and I think that's part of what keeps us tight.
Yeah.
Like people that don't adventure together, I'm just like, what do you guys look forward to? If you have nothing to look forward to, what's happening? So I think it's important, as you all know.
So, okay, let's say you guys go through like a super busy season. I'm sure you've had lots of those.
Lots.
What's your way of not letting that become the new normal? Like, what's your go-to strategy for going,
seasons.
whoa,
Yeah.
we gotta recalibrate too.
I think that I don't know that we are actively thinking about it's a crazy season. I think that the way that at least I've thought about it is that all of those decisions that you make are always only for a season, right? Like we do have some crazy seasons. We did foster care twice, and those are crazy seasons, but we know that they end.
Exactly.
So, and with our kids being all in such different age groups, there's always something that's shifting that's changing kind of the routine. Even if we don't actually actively change it, one of them will change it for us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So you're just adamant about keeping your dates, keeping your quarterlies, keeping your vacations, and just making sure that those never get bumped out.
Yeah.
It's important.
Keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
They will leave you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just forewarning you. As you will find out in
closer.
August.
We got about 2
One
months
of 'em.
until she just wears sunglasses 24/7.
For a little while, probably.
The first one's hard.
Yeah.
And then it gets easier, honestly. But still, when Caleb left, our youngest, I still cried. I was like, it's too quiet.
Poor guy. He only went 10 minutes down the road.
I know, but at least I still have him here.
8
minutes.
8.5.
The other two bailed, and one went really far, as they all know.
Yeah, that one's 2 days away, right?
Yeah, that one's far. But whatever. They know I love them.
Yeah. And again, to your point, that's why building your marriage is so important. And again, the kids like to know that mom and dad's relationship is so strong because they put so much work into it that it's going to last beyond me. Beyond me being in the house, mom and dad are going to be here.
And not to mention, it shows them how marriage should look. So when they get married, it's not starting from scratch. They know a lot of couples get married and they have no idea how to be a great supportive spouse. No idea. So it's good.
And they've got to see both parts of it. Like because we put everything on the calendar, they know when one of our date times is doing bills together.
I would never count that as a date ever. But
I like these ideas, babe.
I would never.
More calendar,
it's not
more
happening.
bill, more
Yeah,
date. Yeah,
we do a
like
goals
that.
date
do,
and
yeah.
bills. Bill date at least twice a month.
So is this
Twice a month?
Just out of curiosity
for bills? Yeah, you got to pay bills.
So
I just let
whose
him do
idea
it.
was it to make bills a date night?
I
Well,
remember.
Well, who
Steve
runs
hates
the
finances.
Okay, so that's you in
Always.
the house?
Steve does not like finances.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I don't like talking about it.
Yeah, he doesn't
I don't
like
either.
talking about money.
I don't either.
So that
So-
just became then we always
Then we
did it
installed
together
it.
then.
Yeah.
Because it was like this is not going to be like a thing against each other.
No.
So we've always done bills together.
How do you make
then.
it like feel like a date too? Than just doing bills.
Oh, it's just a
Wine.
cup of coffee and or wine, depending on what time of the day it is.
Right.
It didn't start out that way
And-
though. We started that
No.
early, and that was like we knew that was going to be a heated conversation.
Oh yeah, if there's
Early
no
in
money
marriage.
to work with.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was good because we were always at least talking about it.
Yeah.
And now we still tell the kids, get out of the kitchen. We're talking about bills, but we're doing it in the kitchen. They all know that it's
so
happening.
they know.
Okay.
They hear us having the conversation, and they know don't come ask for new shoes right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah.
Clearly, doesn't sound like there's
Yeah.
money left.
No,
for that.
because you had to buy your Charmin and some eggs, so your shoes are out.
Dude, seriously.
Forget it.
That's right.
You're
Holy
done.
smokes.
That's right. So modeling that, like keeping that in front of them,
Yeah, for sure. I think
I
it's
think
great.
it's been good.
Yeah.
And they
Share
know.
the load.
Yep.
And I think that's important for you guys because you're both full time. I'm
Yeah.
only part time, and Gabe's the workaholic in our family. I'm trying to figure out more time to play and how to play and who to play with. But but so for you guys,
pretty accurate,
I
actually.
think but I think it's great for you guys because you're both so busy, and then you have all your extracurriculars and the kids' extracurriculars, and so it's like, how are you doing? I think it's good that you're teaming up and doing it all together because if he expected you, full time nurse, to do all the cleaning in the house, all the cooking in the house, I don't see how that could
Yeah,
ever happen.
right.
So
Yeah.
it's good.
I can see why you wanted to have more kids though, just like more people to work.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
I
You got
was
the crew.
actually thinking about this the other day. I was like, Bond's leaving.
Yeah.
What are
We have
his
to
jobs?
divvy up his
picking up the
chores. Like,
Yeah.
What are his
who's
jobs?
changing the cat litter? I do not want that job.
No.
Just invite them over for dinner once a week.
From Arizona.
From Arizona.
From Arizona.
That's not
Yeah,
gonna
it's a
work.
flight. It'll be worth it.
Son, the laundry is getting bad. The cat litter is out of
Of
control.
course,
You
it
need to
does
come home.
it lightens up with each child though. There's less garbage. There's
true.
less food.
Laun-
There's
yeah.
less
Yeah.
laundry. I mean, it all with every child. It's kind of crazy. It's weird.
And we
Yeah.
decided the other day we're sending the pets with them.
Yeah, good
Oh,
luck.
yes.
Yeah,
My
that's what they all
parents
try
said
to
that,
do.
and guess who never had the dog
really?
and ended up dying with my parents?
Yeah, because
that
we were
never
getting married.
happened.
I'm like, I did not sign up for a dog.
Yeah.
That's not.
And then you got one.
Yeah, well, later.
It's-
Later.
Well, later when our kids forced us into it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Okay. Is it fair to say there's not a ton of wiggle room in your not a lot of discretionary time in your lives?
I don't know. I think there's more hours in a day than people think. One thing that I did recently is I've had Steve put a timer on even my social media. So at 1 hour from the day, it clicks off and I get a 5-minute warning. And I usually will stop then because I don't want to hit my 1 hour. But that literally freed up so much time. You don't realize how much you like sit on the TV or sit on social media and stuff
Netflix.
like that. And that honestly, when I started that, I started getting back into my hobbies more.
Yeah.
Because you have free time. I think people don't realize how much free time we actually have. I'm home by 5. So even though I work full time, I'm home by 5. We can have dinner together. Cade's home about 5, I think is when you pick him up too. And so we all have dinner together.
Yeah.
And then really we have the evening, the whole evening as a family to do stuff. So even though it seems like there's lots of stuff going on, like our evenings are usually all together.
So you feel some freedom. You don't feel like it's just so scheduled. There's no breathing room. Nice.
And yes, I did automate that.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
Was that the thing you thought I was going to agree with? Because I actually agree with that. I think it's really good.
Okay, so I'm so
like
curious
that.
what this controversial thing is you're going to introduce somewhere in this conversation. It's
Keep
okay.
asking the
I got
questions.
one
He's
more
probably
question.
gonna
I got one more question on this.
I'm prepped for it.
Okay.
Oh, Lord.
So when it comes to I know you started writing recently quite a bit, right? I mean, you've already cranked out a bunch of books already. And I'm kind of sitting back going, how in the world did you find the time for that? Because I know my life and I can't imagine my life is any busier than yours. And I'm trying to add stuff and going when would I do it?
How many hours a night do you sleep?
A lot.
I actually do. I
Really?
go to bed
Yes.
between 9 and 10, and I get up at 6:30.
Okay, so
Okay.
you actually sleep good. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking some people that get a lot done are sleeping 5-6 hours a night. And I can't function off that.
No.
I'm like,
I
no,
have
I
to
need
have
8 or
sleep.
9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's how did that happen? How do you fit
Honestly,
it in?
that's my time with God. I do that for myself. That's my time with him. So it's not like I'm sitting down thinking I'm going to write a book. It just becomes that in the end.
You're processing through words.
It is. It's how I
So
process.
to be clear, you're not writing fictional books. You're writing scriptural
Devotionals.
books, devotionals.
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Yes. So I started writing devotionals after I finished nursing school. I just needed something to honestly keep my brain going, and we have the Bible. So I just started researching
Elaborate.
a lot of that. So
Yeah.
and that kind of that's my God time. So driving to work, I listen to different, devotionals on my way to work through Right Now Media usually. And then
Love
I
Right Now
just,
Media.
and then it's random. I'll sit down a couple times, during the week and usually before bed or on my day off and just write down my thoughts. And it just becomes into those devotionals.
That's
It's
neat.
not really I'm not thinking, oh, this is an extra task.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is my time with God.
So you're not like,
That's
they're at my
cool.
deadline and I got to get, you're
Right.
not feeling
Yes.
that pressure.
Right.
I always
Yeah.
find you get a lot of joy when those things can be integrated like that, where
Yeah.
it's not two lives, it's not too huge. You're not jumping over some big barrier from one part of your life to another part of your life in order to do that. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool. And maybe there's some secret there. I'm kind of hearing that theme a little bit as we're talking, just like you've really integrated a lot of things together so that it feels like there's a pretty good center to your lives. And you're not pulled a ton of different directions. It feels like. I'm sure you feel like it sometimes, but there's a lot of overlap.
But you know your cores.
Yeah.
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 That's probably, I think I know why that happened in our marriage.
Okay.
Because we were both, we had a pre-marriage counselor in college who was our campus pastor. I loved him. Lori, not so much.
Okay.
And I would walk out of a session and be like, that was awesome. Was that not awesome?
She's
She'd
like,
be
no.
like, no,
Nope.
that was horrible.
We're not
was
doing that.
Yeah.
He also had a
sucks.
mullet.
Oh, well,
he
it says
did.
are unfortunate. Was it 1982? I don't understand. No, you guys haven't been married that long.
But one of the things that he said to us that really ticked us both off was that he said that we were overly connected to our families.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
that's what someone said to me.
we had one of those.
I was
once,
so
too.
offended
Yeah,
by
I
that.
was so
But
offended.
So mad.
They told Gabe
Yes.
I was too close to my dad.
Yeah.
And I was like, excuse me?
It
And
was,
so instantly I was just shut off from that
Yes.
counselor. I never
Yep.
wanted to talk to him, never wanted to see him. I was so offended.
Yeah.
you would have loved
I
Ralph.
get it.
You would have
Yeah.
loved Ralph.
I don't think I would have.
Ralph.
But
What was our exercise?
Yeah.
Spend the day in the same apartment but in separate rooms
Why?
because we were too connected
I loved Ralph.
to our
To this day,
families
Ralph,
and
if you're
each
watching
other.
this,
We were too
I
connected.
still love you.
He's dumb.
That was the exercise.
I hope he
like,
listens
but-
to this. Just
So
kidding.
the one thing that he was right on, I think it was really good, was when we first got married, we moved. My family's from Western Canada. Lori's family is here from Oregon. and we moved together, and we went to Detroit.
Yeah.
And we were there.
Just nowhere.
You just took the advice and got out of Dodge.
We were just the two of us for 4 years, and that was really good. One, she could never say to me, "I'll just have my dad do it." That was never a possibility.
Right.
But it was just us then, and it was us against the world, and we kind of built that together, and so that's, I think, is carried.
Yeah.
Because we started off going, "Oh no, it's just the two of us together."
Yeah, we had to lean on each other. That's all. We had,
Yes. Yeah.
you know?
And those were challenging years. So I think we've always leaned into that. We've kept that the whole time.
Yeah.
I would not be offended when people say, you and Gabe are too close. Yes, that's how it's supposed to be.
Right?
Okay. Yeah, you're welcome for the influence
Yes.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the question that everybody's asking is, what do you want to say? What is it?
So I was thinking about what advice would I give somebody. It was, and
okay.
and
I know where this is coming from. This is one of the questions on the sheet that I have right here in front of me.
And I would say the thing that really you should do as a couple is that you should play games with each other.
He's so competitive, and he started this with me now.
And you specifically should play games that you can keep score of, and you should track that score on an ongoing basis.
Except that's
So
not
there's
what
always
First
a winner
Corinthians
and a
says.
loser in the relationship.
Besides,
Is that-
he's a cheater.
is that what you're saying?
I knew it.
No, he is.
I knew it.
No.
He beat us, my roommate and I, at Monopoly in 5 minutes. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Cheat.
That's cheating.
It was incredible. It was
You have to
like
cheat.
houses and hotels
I don't
in your
know how.
pocket or something?
It was unbelievable.
Okay, for the record, I'm just not very competitive. I was when I was younger, but
Which
now
is so funny
I just
'cause-
don't even care.
Yeah,
don't
but
care.
She was so competitive, and now
I was
no.
I was in sports my whole life.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was all gymnastics and softball
Yeah.
for me, and and
then-
the older I get, the more I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I just don't care. Good, win. But when you challenged me the other day, so I brought it. If you're going to challenge me, I'm going to bring it, and I won. So
Yeah, you did.
you will find out more about that on Easter Sunday at Westside Community Church.
See, it's good. It's good. Keeps a little energy.
Yeah. No, I get the fun and I get what you're saying with the fun and active and flirty and kind of spurring each other on. I totally get that. I'm not like I would do that with Gabe. Like if he started running, I would run too, and I'd try to beat him. I get it.
Okay, yeah.
But
I'm not
I
gonna run.
generally am not.
No.
I'm not competitive and not with you because I keep no record of wrongs from 1 Corinthians 13.
That's right. Well,
Yeah.
He don't like that.
Unless
part
I
of the Bible.
don't, unless I keep record of wrongs, and then you keep that record.
Oh yeah, I'll do it. Wait, did you just say? I never forget. I'm not. I'm a woman. Are you
Right.
kidding me?
Yeah.
We don't
That's
ever
the thing,
forget.
it's not like I beat her one time in Monopoly when we were in college.
Right,
And
no.
We're still talking.
Yeah.
We are
about
still
that.
talking about that. How many years ago? It's all good.
What do you guys think about the seasons that you've been through? Has there been one season that was the most demanding, or one season that was the easiest, or like in terms of newlywed, first having kids, going on?
Alone in Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was good times
It was.
in
Good.
Detroit because we did have to lean into each other. And we had a really good small group that we were a part of. And so we, developed, they became family and like out there. It was really good.
Let me jump on that
So,
for a second.
yeah.
I have we got a bunch of weddings this summer of some of the loves of our lives. So even
Meaning
some of our kids.
nieces and nephews.
Yes,
and stuff.
we got some stuff coming up. And I always say get connected to like a young marrieds group or a young
Yes.
adults group. Make
Yeah.
friends that have commonality with you in your life at this phase in this season. And then, grow on that. Because I think the worst thing to me is I love having Gabe as my number one. But if it was just us and we didn't have anybody else and it was just us, I feel like that would be so hard. Like I love that you guys relied on each other in Detroit, and I totally get that.
Yeah.
We did that in Chicago when we went there.
Yeah.
It was us or nothing. But we had to find community, and we didn't in
Yes.
Chicago. And I struggled, and I got depressed. I lost 30 pounds. I struggled. And so I'm telling young couples, get in community.
Yes.
Like it helps.
Yeah.
Good community.
Yes.
Community that's going to influence you for Christ,
Yes.
not down
Yes.
at the
Same
bar
values
every
as
Friday
you,
night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It means everything. It
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
makes
Yep.
your marriage so much richer.
Yeah. Yeah.
What kind of kept you guys united and through the seasons? Like, from one to the next. How did you guys really stay connected together through those big changes? Because I mean, like, I know you go through hard times, like you losing your father. That's tough stuff. How do you stay together as a couple in
And
those
foster care, like when you're doing foster care, I mean, it's a lot of extra stress. How did you do that?
Well, I think, at the beginning, because we had to rely on each other and we had our miscarriages when we were out there, just the two of us. So you build that foundation that's your person.
Yeah.
So that's the person I go to. So I think even foster care was probably the hardest season for us.
Yeah.
And you just keep that open communication. We talk a lot. He's the person I talk to about everything. So we talk a lot about all of our stuff.
It's been I lean into the rhythms, right? Those things have been the things that have carried us through.
Yeah, because they keep you doing it, right? They keep you in that routine so that, you're not getting out of that routine. And I think for people who are struggling, like if you're in a point in your marriage where you're struggling, you're not feeling maybe connected, I think just having that, being obedient and keeping that your number one person, that God blesses that obedience.
That's right.
And you come through that.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
ride
really, through the
really
seasons, because we say that all the time. The seasons, some of them suck, and you just got to ride through them and just keep diligent doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Sometimes it's by choice that you're doing it, not by
not by the butterflies.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, for sure.
Yeah.
That's good.
Good stuff. What other advice, besides the Monopoly thing, but what other advice would you guys have?
Compete with your wife.
Yeah, compete with your wife. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. It just keeps her in her place.
Oh.
Right? We're tied right now, by the way. We're tied.
Okay.
Did you kick him under the table, or was that? Oh,
No, that's okay. Women, have you seen, My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Yes.
Women are the next. So.
Yeah. You don't move without us.
Yep. Nope.
We know that.
So.
Any last bit of advice?
I think being your spouse's cheerleader is important.
Yeah.
I think they have dreams, and I want to be Lori's biggest cheerleader on those dreams and helping her along the way. And I want to see her succeed. So I think that's a big piece of it.
Yeah. Because I think, you both have dreams. You have dreams as a family, as a couple, and they're beneficial for all of us, and when your spouse is happy living in their dreams, that makes your life happy, makes your life better.
It should.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Or else you're being too competitive.
My dreams are more important than your dreams.
And I'd say praying for one another. I think that's an important thing.
That's
is
great.
Putting the other person in front of the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say for me, when we disagree, like there's something that maybe we don't align with, I just take it to God, because I feel like if I can convince God to convince him.
Wow.
Words of wisdom to every woman listening.
So good.
And
vice
it has
versa
worked,
too,
okay?
I'm sure it has.
Yeah.
So.
But honestly, if your heart's right,
yeah.
and you're seeking Christ and you have a feeling that this is the right thing, then pray about it.
He's either going to change my
exactly,
thought
or
on
he's
it,
going
or
to
he's going to change his.
Exactly.
At some point, it's going to,
it's going to
He's
come.
done that too.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sure he has
That's
done
worked.
both. Yep.
That's great.
Well, thanks you guys for
thank you.
opening
This
up
is
your
fun.
lives to us. It was a lot of fun to have you guys here with us, and you've got a lot of wisdom to share. So thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for joining us today. Remember to share and subscribe, and join us every single month. This is your counseling session.